glass window that you see is made from the Tiffany Glass Company of New York. And that center window there on the wall, the spiderweb shapes, that was personally designed by Mrs. Winchester and holds two of her favorite spiritual designs. The spiderweb as well as number 13.
What did she say these rooms were used for?
I'm not sure.
So how did everybody like this, dear?
It's just like the secretary Mom and Dad have. That's what we just went down.
This is Mrs. Winchester, seance room. So she would come in here nightly to speak with the spirits as well as conduct her construction plans for the next day. Now she was the new person allowed in this room and held the only key, and that's what the bars and the windows are for, so nobody can sneak into this room. Now the center window there served a good purpose for Mrs. Winchester, because if you're standing 4 foot 10 inches tall, you could easily look down into the kitchen below. But if your servant working down there were to look up, you would not be able to see her. So it was an easy way for her to spy on her servants. Now this room here does only have one entrance, but 3 exits. The first exit is the door that we just came through, but of course we're not going out that way today. The second is the door right next to that, but if you open that up, you take an 8-foot fall into a small kitchen sink. So we're not going out that way today. So this room here was left unfinished at the time Mrs. Winchester's death, but it would have been a dressing room for the 2 bedrooms in the back there. Take a look up, you can see our sprinkler system. That was installed in 1949 and runs 7.5 miles up the entire house. We're now going to head through this door here to the North Conservatory. You can just go straight across the hall there and into that green room. California did have many droughts, so she installed many water-saving devices throughout her home. Reveal the metal floor underneath, and she simply lay all of her plants along that floor. Plug a hose into this faucet here and water her plants. Now, if any water was to be spilled, simply run down the slanted floors into a drain out to the gardens below, conserving any misused water. If you look in the corner over there, you can see one of the 3 elevators. That is a hydraulic elevator. It takes about 10 to 15 seconds to get from the first floor to the second. Runs about 50 feet per minute. Now, Mrs. Winchester was alive. It was pretty fast, but now it used to be pretty slow. We're going to head into the Hall of Fires now and ask that you do not step on the tiling around the fireplaces because it is original. So follow me and watch your step.
The Hall of Flowers. Yeah, let's go here.
So these 3 rooms here are the Hall of Fires. Now it's called that because it has 7 sources of heat. There are 4 fireplaces and 3 hot air registers, such as the one in the corner on the floor there. Now, I said Mrs. Winchester would come into these rooms, close the doors and windows, and crank up the heat, relieving the pain of her arthritis, warming her bones. If you look in this corner right here, you can see those walls are slanted. And that's because the center room here used to be the water tower to that 8-bedroom farmhouse. But as building progressed, it engulfed the water tower, and she had to build a new one farther onto the estate. You can actually see that new water tower and your self-guided garden tour, the behind-the-scenes tour. Now, this little sink over here is original, was hand-painted in Venice, Italy, came with 13 overflow drain holes in it. We're now going to head into the Oriental Bedroom, so follow me and watch your step. These 2 rooms here are the Oriental Bedrooms. Now it's called that because everything in here would have been imported from the Orient when Mrs. Winchester was alive. If you look at the wallpaper on the ceiling there, that was hand-painted in Japan, as well as bamboo around the fireplace was grown in Japan, but then brought here and carved on the estate. Now Mrs. Winchester's niece, Mary Marriott, did occupy these 2 rooms and served as their secretary as well as only companion. If you look through the doorway over there, you can see the 7-Eleven staircase. Those in the shape of a Y to make it much easier and faster for servants to get around. Now, how it works, if you take the first 7 down, next to 11 up, you're on the 2nd floor where we are now, but 3 feet higher. Take those first 7 down, turn right, take the next 6 down, you're on the 1st floor. Sounds a little confusing, so let me simplify it. You have to go down to go up to go up to go down to go down to go down to go down to go down. Since there's no more questions about that, we're going to head into Mrs. Winchester's living rooms. On our way there, we're going to pass to the South Conservatory. Now, this room behind me does have the most windows in the entire house. It has 250 panes of glass, and the entire house has 10,000 windows. That's more than the Empire State Building with 6,500. There is a window on the floor, so watch your step and follow me.
There's a window in the floor. Windows that open right to the other side of the house.
I know. It's just the craziest thing.
I guess at one time they probably opened outside and then they built another part of it.
Yeah.
And that's because Mrs. Winchester made two minor building mistakes in putting it in. The first one is that it's the north side of the building, and the second is that she built more rooms behind it. So direct sunlight will never come through that window. Now that window did cost about $1,500, so by now you might be wondering how she would even afford to build a house like this. Well, when her husband and mother-in-law died, she inherited 20. Here's the crystal bedroom. Now it's called that because of its sparkling wallpaper, and that wallpaper sparkles because it has a crushed blanket in it. Take a look at this photo right here. It's the house looked like before the 1906 earthquake, at its highest height of 7 stories tall. Now that watchtower there was so badly damaged during the earthquake that unfortunately had to be taken down. So there's a much more recent photo of the house. It's 4 stories tall. Would anyone like to go up there and point to where you think we are right now?
Yeah, no way.
Nobody? Be shy.
I'll take a guess.
Okay.
Somewhere like in here.
Yeah, good job. Yeah, exactly. If you look at those 2 windows there, you can see these 2 windows here in the photo.
I'm sure you've been there before, so than you.
We're now going to head into the Daisy bedroom, and that's where Mrs. Winchester was trapped in during the 1906 earthquake. On our way there, I'm going to ask that you stay in the carpeted areas. I'm going to get to the large stained glass window. Look to your right. You can see the door to nowhere. If you're to open that door, take a 15-foot fall into the gardens below. So follow me and watch your step. So the door doors in the corner over there, through the glass doors, so don't miss it.
Yeah, I mean, these windows have to be
$50,000. $100,000 windows.
They should keep it open.
That's just unreal. Stairs with the wood and
Did you see this, Fee? It's
Another little door over there.
it's a window to an attic
Yeah.
with a skylight. You know what? It's very airy. Like, even though
It's so weird. I guess if she was only 4'10", her feet was probably a lot smaller than mine too.
Do you know, did she keep the windows open a lot? Like, I mean, as many windows as it had and stuff like that? Because, I mean, it's a very airy house. Like, I mean, it's a beautiful day to walk around in it and stuff right now.
Yeah, she probably did keep a lot of windows open and stuff for ventilation and
We were all agreed she liked windows.
Yeah, or something.
So it's the fourth floor balcony and it's the highest point of the house today. As you look around, you can see the estate it sits on. It's 4.5 acres. Now, Mrs. Winchester bought the estate at 161 acres. Take a look at this chimney right here. It's the chimney we say almost made it. And that's because it reaches 4 stories tall, which is a foot short of the ceiling, making all fireplaces hooked up to it completely worthless. Now, as for this bricks there at the bottom of the chimney, that was the only damage that
It would be crazy easy to get lost in here.
Gravel floors?
Does this door go anywhere?
yeah, you'll see here.
Oh, okay.
Quit ruining the surprise.
Oh, okay.
So here I'm standing. These are the original back 5 porch steps, that 8-bedroom farmhouse bought in 1884. And I'd love to show you those 8 bedrooms, but unfortunately I can't, and that's because we have no idea where they are. That's because Mrs. Winchester remodeled over 600 rooms. We have no idea what's original and what she put in. If you do look down this hall here, though, you can see how far the house grew in its 38 years. So everything in front of me here used to be orchards. Now you do have a very important decision to make, and that you need to take these back 5 porch steps with me into the next room. Or can I get someone to open up that little door right there? That's another set of easy risers. Now those are the last easy risers on the tour today, and maybe the last easy risers you'll ever take in your entire lifetime. So choose wisely, and I hope to see you in the next room.
We'll take the little one.
Yeah, I had a bunch of easy risers too.
Go ahead.
I don't know.
So cool. It's crazy. What is it? Let's see the kitchen.
So this here is one of the 6 kitchens, also the main kitchen used before the 1906 earthquake, as well as one of the 30 rooms that were boarded up after that earthquake. Over here is where the original stove would have gone. This window is not original, but was made around the same time she was alive. The tiling around the floor there served good purpose because it absorbed any heat that came off the stove, protecting the servants' feet from ever being burnt. If you look at those counters there around the sink, that's another water-saving device. Those are grooved and slanted inwards, so any water that we splashed up simply run right back into the sink. We're now going to head into the guest reception hall, so follow me and watch your step.
Law.
There's another one.
Yeah, they have a place for those spirits.
Pretty.
That's all handmade floor.
So this is where ladies at the time would greet their guests and bring them to that parlor right over there. Now that parlor is the most preserved room in the house, and that's because Mrs. Winchester never had any guests. Now that floor in there is made out of 4 different kinds of wood: oak, ash, mahogany, and maple. And it took one construction worker an entire year to place that floor. Take a look at the fireplace here. It's actually not made out of bricks. It's made out of one single piece of Minnesota pipestone. It was just carved and painted to look like bricks. Take a look over here. You can see the 2 front doors of the house. Now these 2 front doors have 2 legends about them. The first was only 3 people have ever walked through them: Mrs. Winchester and the 2 construction workers who placed them in. The second legend is that President Teddy Roosevelt wanted to come speak to Mrs. Winchester, being a fan of the rifle, but when he got up to the doors, he was stopped by a servant, and the gardener said, "If you want a job, you can go around in the servant store like everybody else." Now, of course, he was very offended by this and left, and they reportedly never spoke to each other. We're now going to head into the Grand Ballroom, so follow me and watch your step.
So why didn't she ever use these? I mean,
They were put in shortly before the 1906 earthquake, and this was all locked off after that, so they never really got used.
There's just room after room after room after room.
Guess this would be like a ballroom, place for the people to play and stuff over there.
She was original. I'll have to say that. Like, there's like no 2 rooms that look anything like each other or anything like that. She's never like, oh, we did that wall. Let's just do it over here again too. You know, like.
These same thoughts people this little world.
So this here is the Grand Ballroom. Now, of course, it's not called that because of its size. It's called that because of its cost. This one cost $9,000 alone to build. And that was 3.5 times more the amount the average house is worth in. Now, this room is mostly made out of wood pegs and glue, and that's for acoustical reasons. Take a look at the roof. There are 9 panels up there, each holding 13 smaller panels within. Except for the center one, which holds a gas chandelier. Now, the gas chandelier was imported from Germany, only came with 12 gas lamps in it. So, of course, Mrs. Winchester had to add a 13th one in, and that's the crooked one there in the center.
Yeah, you can see it.
Now, you may have noticed 2 stained glass windows on either side of the fireplace. The one on the left reads wide and class, the table of their thoughts. And the one on the right reads these same thoughts, people, this little world. Now, unfortunately, whatever meaning that had to Mrs. Winchester died with her. All we do know is it's taken from two separate Shakespearean plays. We're now going to head into the room with the largest and smallest cupboards, so follow me and watch your step.
So this was just used as a music room?
Yeah, she would play the organ in here.
It's an awfully tall bench for a lady who's only 4 feet 11.
Yes.
Interesting.
Doorway
She knew her way around.
to a half wall thing. It's almost like a freezer or something. Look, it's like a gutter drain in the house.
How long have you worked?
About a year and 3 months.
Cool job.
Yeah, that's a lot. So the tiled room I passed by there, so Mrs. Winchester would have used as a refrigerator. Now how it works is she'd taken giant blocks of ice and placed it in that room, keeping her cool and her was good. Can I get someone to open up that cupboard right there for me, please?
Where was the refrigerator? Which
It's
one?
in the tiled room back there.
This marble room right
Oh,
there.
back in there?
That opens up to reveal a whole half an inch of storage space.